Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I am your host, Kevin, for a review of the Nidecker Ultralight. This board comes in two sizes, a 160 and a 164. Nidecker calls the camber profile on this freeride cam rock. Basically, you've got positive camber from insert through insert, and then right after the insert's in the nose, it kicks up. And right after, basically right around that POW insert in the back, it kicks up in the back. I rode this with some K2 lean ATs with the heel block installed in the back to make them a little bit stiffer, laterally, tip to tail, and ride fuses. Overall, slightly stiffer boot, at least for me. I don't weigh very much, and that boot for me is a little bit stiffer with that urethane tongue. The binding of being a little bit softer, but it has those heel blocks to it, so it does have some little bit more power and drive to it, especially compared to what they used to be. Overall, the binding was definitely enough for that board, so I was able to drive it, was able to power through it. And I rode these at A Basin on a pretty damn cold day, honestly. We've been getting a ton of snow lately, so the snow was hard, but it wasn't full on icy. Didn't really run into any gnarly ice, but the snow was definitely firm. The flex on this board is definitely in that free ride category. You've got a little bit softer nose to it so it can deflect. That nose is gonna lift up, and basically from there, it just gets stiff. It's really, really meaty underfoot, pretty stiff between the feet with a little bit more torsional give. That's part of this 3D shaping they got going on here, is it keeps it stiff right across the very center of the board, but having this cord out on the sides here allows you to twist the board a little bit better. Just gives you a little bit more foot steering and a little bit more foot control on this board when you're out there riding crazy gnarly steep stuff. Stiff throughout your back foot and then stiff through the tail. Overall, it's a demanding flex. It's an aggressive flex. Overall, you do get some tip flap out of it, but a lot of what we've noticed throughout all these Nideckers we've been riding is that tip flap doesn't get to you. So you look down and you see it, and it's kind of doing that a little bit, but it doesn't resonate back to your foot. It doesn't affect your cars. It doesn't do anything to the stability of the board. So if you're out there, you're seeing that, it's not doing anything to the ride of the actual board itself. Now, the stability of this one is insane. That full carbon top sheet, that construction that they're using is crazy stable. You just point it through a chunder field, and while it is more of that active feel to it, so you are gonna feel that chunder coming through there, it holds its line and it stays put, and it does not get bucked around at all. It does have a little bit of that torsional give to it, so even while you're riding through that chunder, you can actually still steer through it, and you can kind of power through all that gnar. The tail, super powerful and stable throughout the tail as well. So I tried my hardest to throw all of my weight into that tail as I was coming out of a carve, both toe side and heel side, and I couldn't really get it to break loose. So torsionally throughout the tail, it's got a lot of meat to it. It's gonna hold on to cars, and it's gonna save your ass if you get into some sketchy situations and you get a little bit off balance. So the pop on the Ultralight is your muscle pop. What you put in is what you're gonna get out. It's not mind-blowing, it's not crazy, it's not gonna send you, it's not gonna boost you. Basically, it's meant to be stiff back there, and it's meant to be supportive, carve great, and be stable. It's not necessarily designed to be crazy poppy and snappy, because it's just not really where this kind of lands as far as who they're marketing this board at and what it's really for. It's a free ride board. It's a free ride world tour board. That's what it's really for. And those dudes, when they're trying to jump off something, they don't need it to boost them because of how steep that terrain is. They just need to get up in the air, basically. So what you put in is what you're getting out. Butterability on this, I mean, if you're buying this, why are you trying to butter it? Other than maybe some POW butters out of the nose, it has a little bit of that flex to it out in the very end of the nose. So I didn't try butter, I'll be completely honest. That's not what I'm trying to do on this board, but I would say if you're going to, then throw it onto the nose and throw all of your weight over the nose as far as you can, because that's the only place that this thing really has any flex that might be conducive to buttering. Carving on this thing was awesome. Short radius carves took a lot of effort. It took basically my entire body weight to load through that camber to get it to snap back out to the other turns. Where this thing really shined was pointing it, going super fast, and making big, huge turns. I can lay this thing over, I can throw armpits on the ground, and it holds an edge, it turns awesome, it has an extremely controlled, dialed side cut to it, and the side cut just reacts to exactly what you want to do with it. So at high speeds is really where this thing shines for turning. Rider in mind, Free Ride World Tour. It's printed directly on the top sheet that this board won the World Tour in 2013 and 2014. So That's what they build this for. That's who they build this for. So if you're looking to get out there and just crush gnarly lines, ride super steep stuff, ride really high risk stuff, that's where Nidecker puts this board, and that's where it lands. This is probably one of my favorite freeride boards I've ever been on. The only thing that really lacks for me on this is it doesn't quite have that ability to do those really quick, snappy turns. And I have ridden some freeride stuff out there that is a little bit better at that. But the reaction and just the quickness and the hyper sensitivity to this board, I've not ridden anything like that yet. So it's definitely kind of in a league of its own on that end. Like, the board basically reads your mind. It's super quick edge to edge and just super reactive. It just works really, really well, and it's crazy stable and just feels very confidence inspiring underfoot. I really like this, and this is definitely one of the better freeride boards I've been on in a long time. Comparable boards to the Nidecker Ultralight are going to be the Jones Carbon Flagship, the Arbor A-Frame, and the Rossignol XV. Thanks for watching. I've been your host, Kevin, and this has been my review of the Nidecker Ultralight. Do you have one of these? This guy's been in the line for a while. It's won some freeride world tours. Do you like this board? Do you hate this board? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Leave me a comment. While you're doing that, make sure you're clicking the subscribe button and hit the bells. Make sure you get notifications when we got more reviews, more video projects coming out. If you're new around here, check out Angry Snowboarder VIP. It's the best way to support us, keep these reviews coming, and keep other projects moving forward and new projects coming out. Check us in the next video. I'm your host, Kevin, for